Have you ever felt like your English is slipping away? Every day you forget words you once knew. Every moment your confidence grows weaker. But what if I told you, this is not the end? That inside your mind. There is a power waiting to wake up. In the next few minutes, you will discover the secrets to keeping your brain young, your memory sharp, and your English alive forever. Don't click away. This might be the most important lesson you watch this year. Are you ready to improve your English listening and speaking skills? Have you ever struggled to understand native speakers in real-life situations? Or maybe you want to express yourself more clearly and confidently in conversations. In today's episode, we are going to help you do just that. Welcome to the Soulful English. If you're new here, we upload daily episodes to help you improve your English naturally. In this episode, you will hear real-life stories with useful vocabulary and expressions. Listening to these stories will help you understand English. You will understand English in everyday situations. And by repeating the phrases, you will improve your speaking skills too. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever had a moment when you misunderstood someone in English? Imagine ordering food at a restaurant, but the waiter doesn't understand. Or imagine talking to a coworker but missing an important detail in the conversation. These situations can be frustrating, right? Let me tell you a personal story. A few years ago, my friend Nathan traveled to New York for the first time. He was excited but nervous about speaking English. On his first day, he walked into a small cafe to order breakfast. He wanted a croissant and a coffee, so he ordered. He confidently said, "Can I have a croissant and a coffee, please?" But the cashier looked confused and asked, "Sorry, what was that?" Nathan repeated himself, but the cashier still didn't understand. He started feeling nervous. Then another customer stepped in and said, "He means a croissant." Suddenly, the cashier understood. This moment taught Nathan an important lesson. Sometimes pronunciation makes a big difference in understanding, especially in real-life conversations. He realized that even though he knew the words, hearing them in real situations was different from learning them in a textbook. This is why listening is so important. The more you listen to real English, the more natural it becomes, and the easier it feels. When you hear common phrases often, you will feel more confident using them yourself. Now let's talk about another real-life situation. My cousin Olivia moved to Canada for work. She spoke English well, but when she arrived, she had trouble following conversations with people. People spoke quickly, used slang, and sometimes even interrupted each other. One day, she had an important meeting and her manager asked something. Her manager said, "Can you touch base with Mike about the new project?" Olivia was confused. What did touch base mean exactly? She thought, should I physically touch something? Later, she found out that touch base means to check in or to discuss something briefly. This small phrase made a big difference in her understanding. After that, she started paying attention to idioms and expressions in conversations. So here's a tip for you. When you hear a new phrase, don't just memorize the meaning. Listen to how it's used. Listen to how it's used in real conversations. Try repeating it aloud and using it in your own sentences to gain confidence. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Now let's think about your own experience with understanding English in real life. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't understand something in English? Maybe you misheard a word or misunderstood an expression. What did you do? How did you handle it? Imagine you are at a hotel and the receptionist says, "Would you like a wake-up call?" If you're not familiar with this phrase, you might think they are asking if you need to wake up in life instead. But actually, a wake-up call means that the hotel will call your room in the morning to wake you up on time. These small but important moments happen all the time in real life. That's why listening to real conversations is the best way to improve. Let's do a quick practice exercise. I will say a short sentence, and I want you to repeat it after me. Are you ready? I'd like to order a coffee, please. Now you try. Great. Now, let's try another one. Could you repeat that, please, for me? These are simple, polite phrases that you can use in everyday situations. The more you listen and repeat, the more confident you will feel. Now let's continue with another real-life story. A few years ago, my friend Ethan moved to London for a new job. He was excited because it was his dream to work in an international company. He had studied English for years, but mainly from books. He thought he was prepared, but when he arrived in London, he faced an unexpected challenge. Real-life conversations were much harder than expected. On his first day at work, his manager Claire introduced him to the team. Everyone was friendly, but they spoke quickly and used expressions. They used a lot of expressions that he had never seen in textbooks. At lunchtime, one of his co-workers, Liam, said something to him. Liam said, "Hey, Ethan, let's grab a bite." Ethan was confused. He thought, "Grab what? What does that mean exactly?" He hesitated for a moment. Then he smiled and said, okay. He followed Liam to a nearby cafe, still unsure about what was happening or what it meant. When they arrived, he finally understood. Grab a bite just means go and get something to eat. It was such a simple phrase, but because he had never heard it before in a real conversation, it completely confused him and made him feel uncertain in that moment. That day, he realized that even though he knew a lot of English, he needed more practice listening to how people actually speak naturally. Ethan decided to make a plan. Every day, he started listening to English podcasts while walking to work through the busy streets of London. At lunchtime, instead of sitting alone, he made an effort to join conversations with his coworkers. At first, it was difficult and uncomfortable. He didn't always understand everything, and sometimes he felt nervous. But instead of staying quiet, he started asking questions to clarify the meaning. He would say, "Sorry, what does that mean?" Or "Can you say that again?" His coworkers were happy to explain and support his learning. Little by little, he got better at understanding them. One day, he was in a meeting and his manager said something unfamiliar to him. She said, "All right, let's wrap things up." This time, instead of feeling lost, he knew exactly what it meant. Let's finish the meeting. He smiled to himself because just a few weeks earlier, he wouldn't have understood that phrase. This became an important lesson in his journey. Sometimes the words themselves are not difficult, but the way people say them in real conversations can be very different from textbooks. That's why listening practice is so important. The more you listen to natural English, the more comfortable you will feel when speaking naturally yourself. Now let's talk about another real-life situation. Imagine you are traveling to an English-speaking country for the first time in your life. You arrive at the airport and you need to go through immigration. The officer asks what's the purpose of your visit at the counter. If you are not familiar with this phrase, you might feel nervous. What do they mean by purpose? Is it about my job? Is it about my reason for traveling? What should I say in this moment? But if you have practiced, you will know the answer. You will know the correct answer is something simple like, "I'm here for tourism," or "I'm visiting family," and then you feel relieved. A few months ago, my cousin Isabella traveled to Australia. She was confident in her English, but when she arrived at the airport, she got nervous. The immigration officer asked, "Do you have anything to declare?" She froze for a moment. The word declare sounded serious, like something official or dangerous. She thought, did I bring something illegal? Am I in trouble? She took a deep breath and asked, "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" The officer calmly said, "Are you carrying any food, alcohol, or large amounts of money?" Now she understood declare just means to report something. She smiled and said, "No, I don't have anything to declare." The officer nodded and let her pass without any problem after that. Later, she laughed about the situation. She realized that the problem wasn't her English. It was just that she hadn't heard the phrase before. This is why listening to natural conversations is so helpful. The more you hear these phrases in context, the easier they will be. The easier it will be to understand and respond naturally in the right way. Now, let's do another quick practice exercise together. I'll say some common travel questions and I want you to repeat after me. Where are you traveling from? Now you say it clearly. Great. Here's another one. Do you have a return ticket? Try saying it aloud with confidence. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. You will feel more confident in real situations. Now let's talk about another important moment when listening skills make a big difference in communication. Ordering food at a restaurant is one of those moments. Imagine you are in a busy cafe in London surrounded by many people. You walk up to the counter and the barista says, "What can I get you?" If you are prepared, you can respond. You can simply say, "I'd like a cappuccino, please." But what if they ask for here or to go? You might feel confused. A friend of mine, James, had this exact experience when he traveled to the US. He walked into a coffee shop and ordered a latte. The cashier asked for here or to go. He hesitated. He had never heard this phrase before. He guessed the meaning carefully. He guessed that to go might mean takeaway. So he said to go. Luckily, he was right, but he still felt uncertain inside. At that moment, he felt nervous because he wasn't 100% sure. After that, he started listening carefully to how people ordered food and drinks. He noticed that in the US, people often say, "Can I get a?" instead of "I would like." He also learned something. He also learned that "that'll be" is a common way for cashiers to tell you the total price. For example, the cashier might say, "That will be $5.50. If you don't know this phrase, you might not realize they are telling you the price. But once you hear it a few times, it becomes natural. This is why real-life listening is so important when learning English. The more you hear these phrases, the more confident you will feel when speaking. Now let's practice some common phrases you might hear in a cafe. Repeat after me. What can I get for you? Now you say it. Great. Here's another one. That'll be $5.50. Try saying it aloud. When you listen and repeat, your brain gets used to the sounds of English. Speaking becomes easier and more natural every time you practice. Now let's continue with another real-life example. Let's continue with another important area where listening and speaking skills make a big difference. Making small talk is that area. Small talk is the kind of casual conversation you have with people in everyday situations. Very common everywhere, like when you meet someone new or when you're waiting for a bus. It's a skill that can feel difficult at first, but once you practice it, it can become one of the most valuable ways to improve your fluency in English quickly and effectively. A few months ago, my friend Laura, who is from Spain, moved to an English-speaking city for work. She had studied English for many years, but she was nervous about speaking with strangers, especially when it came to making small talk. She thought it wasn't as important as grammar. She thought small talk wasn't as important as knowing grammar and vocabulary. But she quickly realized that it was a huge part of everyday life. Her first week at work was a bit stressful. At lunch, her colleague Daniel invited her to join him and a few others in the break room. Laura was unsure what to say. She didn't know these people very well, and she was afraid she might say the wrong thing. When they sat down to eat, Daniel asked, "So how was your weekend?" Laura froze for a second, not knowing what to answer. In Spain, people often talk about what they did over the weekend, but she didn't know if she should share something personal or simple. She finally decided to say it was good. "I went to the park with my family." That was a safe answer, right? Then Daniel smiled and said, "That sounds nice. What did you do at the park?" Laura realized this was just small, friendly conversation. It was just like asking someone about their hobbies or interests. It wasn't a deep conversation. It was just a way to connect. Over the next few days, she became more comfortable with small talk. She started asking her coworkers questions like, "Do you like the weather here?" Or she asked, "What do you like to do in your free time?" And she was surprised at how easy it became every day. Through these simple conversations, Laura realized something very important. Small talk isn't just about talking. It's about connecting with people around you naturally. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And when you listen carefully, you learn useful phrases and expressions that help you speak. For example, when Daniel asked about Laura's weekend, he didn't say, "What did you do over the weekend?" Instead, he said, "How was your weekend?" This is a very common way to ask about someone's weekend or time off. When you hear expressions in conversations, they stick with you. Soon, you'll be able to use them yourself. Here's another tip when it comes to small talk. People don't expect long answers at all. It's more about giving a simple response and asking the other person about their experience. This keeps the conversation flowing naturally and easily. When you're practicing, remember to listen for small cues. For instance, someone might say the weekend was great, but I wish it was longer. This shows they're offering a bit of information, but also leaving space for you to share your experience too. It's an invitation to respond. Laura started using this technique and found it helped her speak more confidently. Instead of worrying about perfection, she focused on conversation flow and learning. One of the phrases Laura picked up during her first few weeks was, "What about you?" It became her favorite phrase in conversations. When someone asked her how her weekend was, she learned it's perfectly natural to respond with, "It was good, thanks. What about you?" These small, everyday conversations will help you improve your listening and speaking skills. You'll start to feel more confident in social situations with practice. This is something that can't be learned from a textbook alone. It's about engaging with people, paying attention to how they speak, and practicing. Now let's shift gears and talk about something else that can challenge English learners. Understanding different accents is one of those challenges. When you're learning English, you might find it hard to understand different accents or regional variations. British, American, Australian, each sounds unique in real life. Even within the same country, there are different accents. Understanding accents is an important part of mastering English and becoming truly fluent. Let's take a step back for a moment. I want you to think about your own journey in learning English so far. Have you had moments where you felt unsure or confused in a conversation? Maybe someone spoke quickly or used slang or an idiom. It happens to all of us. It's part of the process of learning a new language. The key is not to give up. Keep practicing and keep engaging with real conversations. Every time you listen, you get a little bit better than before in your journey. Remember, English isn't just something you learn from books. It's something you experience through conversations, stories, and real-life situations with real people. Whether it's making small talk with a friend, ordering food at a restaurant, or simply listening to someone tell a story, it all helps. Every moment is a chance to improve. By listening to real stories, you start to notice the natural rhythm of English conversations. You learn how words flow together in sentences, how people express themselves in different situations, and how to use phrases at the right time. This kind of practice will help you sound more natural when you speak. It's the key to fluency and confidence in English. When I was visiting New York a couple of years ago, I got a little lost while walking around the city streets. I decided to stop and ask someone for directions. I approached a friendly-looking person and said, "Excuse me, can you tell me something?" I said, "Can you tell me how to get to the subway?" He looked at me and said, "Yeah, just go straight." He said, "Go straight ahead. Take a left at the lights, and you'll see it on your right side near the corner." That was simple enough, but I was surprised at how fast he spoke. He didn't slow down to explain the directions clearly. I had to listen very carefully to catch all the details. In that moment, I realized how important it is to focus. It's important to focus not just on the words, but on how they're delivered. Native speakers often speak quickly without realizing it. They often use slang or expressions that might not be in your textbooks. For instance, when the man said, "Take a left at the lights," he was using a common phrase to mean turn left at the traffic lights. It was casual and quick, but very natural English. Once I understood the phrase, I realized how useful it would be to remember for future conversations and everyday directions around the city. To improve your skills in asking for directions, start by learning common phrases and expressions. You'll often hear people say, "Go straight" or "turn left." You will also hear it's around the corner and it's just a few blocks away. These are all useful phrases for everyday situations. You'll encounter them frequently when you're practicing. Listen to how native speakers use these phrases in everyday situations by listening to podcasts or videos. By watching movies, you'll be able to hear these expressions in different contexts. After practicing asking for directions in English, try imagining yourself there. Maybe you're lost in a new city and you need to ask for help. Practicing these conversations in your mind will prepare you. Practicing aloud will help you when you're actually in the situation. Let's move on to another practical area that will help your listening and speaking. Handling problems and complaints in English is another important part of everyday life. Whether at a store, in a hotel, or during customer service, knowing how to express your problems clearly is essential. I had an experience a few months ago when I was staying in a hotel. During a business trip, I checked into my room, but when I tried to use the Wi-Fi, it wasn't working properly and failed. I called the front desk and said, "Excuse me, the Wi-Fi isn't working in my room. Could you help me with this?" The receptionist on the phone replied, "I'm sorry to hear that. Let me check and see what I can do to fix." After a few minutes, she called me back and explained that the Wi-Fi was down in the building, but they would fix it soon. She was polite and apologetic, which made me feel better. In this situation, I learned a few things that I want to share. First, when you have a problem, it's important to remain calm and explain the issue clearly. You can use certain phrases in English. You can use phrases like, "I'm having trouble with," or "there's a problem with," to describe the situation politely and clearly for the listener. Second, if someone else is trying to solve the problem, you should listen carefully to their response. They might use certain polite phrases. They might say, "Let me check on that for you," or "I'll have someone take care of it." These are useful expressions. These are polite ways to show that they're taking your complaint seriously. By listening to real-life situations, you'll be better prepared for problems. The more you practice these types of conversations, the easier it will be to stay calm and confident when something goes wrong in real life. And remember, don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. You can always say, "Could you explain that again?" Or you can say, "I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat it, please?" These are simple and polite ways to ask clearly. Imagine walking into a bustling cafe on a cool London morning. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air as you approach. As you approach the counter, the barista greets you cheerfully with, "What can I get you today?" For a moment, you pause uncertainly. This casual phrasing might be different from the formal language you learned in textbooks. You reply confidently, "I'd like a latte, please." Then the barista adds, "That'll be $3.50. Would you like any pastry with that?" In that instant, you realize something very important about English. You realize that real-life English is fast, friendly, and often informal. Now take a moment and ask yourself, have you ever been surprised? Have you ever been surprised by the casual tone in a familiar situation? How did you respond when someone used expressions you hadn't practiced? I remember one day when I was visiting a small cafe in Shoreditch. I had expected a polite formal exchange with the staff, yet the friendly informal language caught me off guard in the best way possible. This taught me that adapting is key to conversation. Adapting to different styles is key to understanding everyday conversation. To practice, try imagining yourself in that cafe and visualize hearing "What can I get you?" Then respond with your order confidently. Repeat these phrases aloud until they feel natural and become part of your active vocabulary over time. Let's move on to another common scenario. Asking for directions in a busy city. Picture yourself in New York surrounded by traffic and pedestrians. A few years back, I found myself wandering the vibrant streets of Manhattan trying to reach a well-known museum in the city. I approached a local and asked, "Excuse me, could you please tell me how to get to the Metropolitan Museum of Art nearby?" The local replied, "Sure, just go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left at the big intersection, and you'll see the museum. You'll see the museum on your right." Listen carefully to this exchange and notice the clear, concise instructions given quickly without hesitation or pause. Ask yourself, have you ever been in a situation where someone spoke too fast or used unfamiliar phrases when giving directions to you? How did you handle it? If you're not sure, consider practicing by repeating the directions aloud until you feel confident about them. Straight for 2 blocks, left at the intersection, museum on the right. Repetition builds your confidence in both understanding and using these everyday phrases. Now let's explore the art of making small talk. This is a fundamental part of building relationships in personal and professional settings everywhere. I recall an afternoon at a local community event in London where I met a gentleman named Anthony. He started our conversation simply. He said, "Lovely weather today, isn't it?" I responded, "Yes, it's a beautiful day. I love how the sunshine brightens everything around us." That simple exchange opened up a pleasant discussion about favorite outdoor activities, local parks, and weekend plans we had enjoyed in the past. Think about your own experiences. What topics do you naturally bring up when meeting someone new? Practice small talk by asking easy questions. Questions like, "How are you today?" or "What have you been up to lately?" The more you practice, the easier it becomes for you. The easier it becomes to keep a conversation flowing. Now, let's add another layer by considering professional settings such as meetings or conferences at work. Imagine you're in a virtual meeting with colleagues from around the world. Your manager might say, "Let's circle back to that point later." At first, you might wonder what circle back means. In this context, it simply means to return to a topic later in the discussion. When you encounter unfamiliar phrases in meetings, jot them down and ask for clarification if needed. This is a helpful and practical method. Reflect for a moment. Have you ever been confused by business jargon or idioms? Practice by repeating phrases like "circle back" until they're familiar. These phrases become second nature through repetition. Next, consider the challenges of phone conversations. Unlike face-to-face talks, you rely solely on audio cues. I once made an important call to resolve an issue with my internet connection. The customer service representative, Michael, answered the phone politely. He said clearly, "Can you please describe the problem you are experiencing?" I explained my connection keeps dropping, and it's very frustrating right now. Michael replied, "I understand. Let me run a diagnostic test on your line." His calm, clear tone helped me feel at ease instantly. Picture yourself in a similar situation. Repeat phrases like, "Could you please repeat that?" or "I'm sorry I didn't catch that." Practice these expressions. These exercises prepare you for real-life calls where clarity is crucial. Now, let's explore a situation many of us face when traveling abroad. Imagine arriving at an airport in an English-speaking country. The announcements over the intercom might sound like, "Due to inclement weather, your flight is delayed." It's delayed by 30 minutes. In that moment, you might feel anxious if you're not familiar with such phrasing or announcements in English. Later, when you ask a staff member, "Could you tell me what the delay is about?" they explain the reason for you. They explain the delay is because of bad weather conditions. Consider practicing these scenarios at home by repeating key phrases until you're comfortable. Phrases such as "flight delayed" and "inclement weather" should become familiar. Another everyday conversation involves discussing hobbies and interests in casual settings with others. Picture a quiet evening when you meet someone at a local event. They ask, "What do you enjoy doing in your free time?" You might reply, "I love reading, hiking, and trying out new recipes." This conversation is a perfect opportunity to learn descriptive adjectives quickly. It also helps expand your vocabulary. Think about your favorite hobby. What words would you use to describe it in English practice? Practicing these questions and answers builds not only your vocabulary, but also your confidence in sharing personal experiences clearly with others. Let's engage in an interactive exercise right now. Repeat after me. How are you today? What have you been up to lately? The weather is really nice, isn't it? I'd love to hear more about that. Take your time with each sentence carefully. Practice them until they roll off your tongue effortlessly. This kind of repetition builds muscle memory for natural conversation and fluent responses. Switching gears. Let's delve into conversations at work, specifically handling meetings and presentations. I remember a meeting where our team leader gave instructions. The leader said we need to finalize the project timeline by Friday. A colleague named Rachel then asked everyone to confirm their availability. She asked, "Can everyone please confirm their availability for a meeting on Thursday?" You might respond, "I'm available, and I'll send a calendar invite." Reflect on this dialogue and notice how clear, concise language is used to coordinate plans. Practicing such exchanges prepares you for real scenarios. If you work in a professional environment, practicing such exchanges can help you prepare for meetings where accuracy and clarity are essential every time. Another memorable experience was during a business conference call. The host said, "Let's wrap up the discussion and summarize our key points together." At that moment, I repeated the sentence in my head to make sure I understood. After the call, I reviewed common phrases. I reviewed wrap up, summarize, and key points. These are common in professional settings. Ask yourself, how many times have you encountered them? Now is a great time to practice them. Say them aloud until they become part of your working vocabulary and daily conversations. Let's consider a more challenging scenario. Interacting with service providers when something goes wrong. Imagine you've booked a hotel room but Wi-Fi isn't working. You call the front desk and say, "Excuse me, the Wi-Fi in my room isn't working. Could you please help me with it?" The receptionist responds, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Let me check on that for you." This exchange uses straightforward language that's polite and clear. It's crucial to speak clearly and listen carefully. Think about how you would handle a similar situation and practice these useful key phrases. Consider recording yourself to see where you might improve. Now, picture yourself in a local market in Australia listening to a vendor shouting. The vendor enthusiastically shouts, "This is a Ripper deal." At first, you might wonder what Ripper means in this surprising context. Later, you learn that it is Australian slang for excellent or fantastic. This is a prime example of learning regional vocabulary naturally. Listening to real-life conversations teaches you idioms you might not find in a textbook. Reflect on any slang expressions you've heard recently. Write them down and try using them in your own sentences. Over time, these expressions will become a natural part of your English. Another engaging scenario involves social gatherings with family and friends. Imagine sitting around a dinner table where everyone shares stories about their day. One relative asks, "What was the best part of your day?" You respond, "I had a wonderful conversation with a new friend." This warm, informal exchange is common in family settings. Think about the simple yet powerful words you use during these conversations naturally with others. Words like wonderful, enjoyable, and delightful build your vocabulary. Practicing these expressions in a relaxed setting builds confidence and reinforces natural speaking style easily. Now let's talk about the role of digital communication in modern English practice. Email, instant messaging, and video calls are part of daily life. For example, when writing an email for work, you might start with, "Dear Mr. Johnson, I hope this email finds you well," and close with, "Sincerely, Hannah." On the other hand, when texting a friend, you might simply write, "Hey, are we still on?" Notice how the language shifts depending on the medium. Consider your own experiences with digital communication. Which style do you find most challenging? Practice both formal and informal writing to build a balanced skill set. Let's move on to a scenario involving cultural events and language. Imagine attending a local art exhibition where a curator explains a painting by saying this artwork reflects the artist's inner turmoil during change. You ask what inspired this style? The curator replies, the use of bold colors and dynamic brushstrokes represents conflict between tradition and modernity. This conversation introduces artistic vocabulary and encourages you to express your abstract ideas. Think about how you would describe art or cultural events. Practicing such descriptive language can enrich your vocabulary and make your conversations more engaging with interesting words for difficult ideas. Another practical scenario is participating in academic discussions. Picture yourself in a university lecture where the professor announces today's focus. The professor states today we will explore the impact of global warming on urban development. After the lecture, you ask for clarification. You ask, could you please elaborate on the strategies cities are using to combat climate change? This type of dialogue requires active listening carefully. It also requires thoughtful questioning. Consider how you might summarize what you've learned in your own words clearly and directly. This practice reinforces your understanding and prepares you for future academic conversations. In addition to structured scenarios, spontaneous conversations also matter. Imagine you're at a community park and overhear a group discussing the latest local news. One person remarks about park renovations nearby. They say the new park renovations have really transformed this area. You might join in by saying, I agree the improvements are fantastic. You might add, have you noticed the new playground features? These unscripted interactions offer a chance to practice impromptu speaking and active listening. Ask yourself, when was the last time you joined a spontaneous conversation? What strategies can you use to enter such discussions smoothly? Now let's explore a scenario that many of us face online. Participating in discussion forums and chat rooms is very common today. In these digital spaces, language is often informal, filled with abbreviations and emoticons. You might see a post like it's lit. Even if the language is casual, it provides insights into current slang and conversational style. Spend some time browsing online forums in English. Observe the way people interact and try to incorporate some expressions into your own spoken or written communication for practice. Consider also the challenge of handling disagreements or misunderstandings in conversation. Even with clear language, miscommunications can occur unexpectedly anywhere. I recall a conversation with a friend where our opinions on a current event differed. Instead of letting the discussion become tense, we adjusted. We said, I see your point, but I have a different perspective. Can we clarify our thoughts further by discussing carefully? Using phrases like these keeps the conversation respectful and constructive. Reflect on disagreements you've experienced. What language could have smoothed the situation? Practice using such phrases in role-playing exercises with a friend or recording yourself until they feel comfortable and natural for you. Let's now shift to another rich source of language practice: storytelling. Telling your own story improves your speaking skills and makes conversation more engaging. Imagine recounting a memorable day when everything went unexpectedly. Start with one day. I found myself lost in a busy city. That experience taught me the value of patience and resourcefulness. As you narrate, include vivid details. Describe sounds, sights, and emotions to your listener. Storytelling helps you organize thoughts and express yourself in a structured manner. Think about a recent experience and try narrating it in English. This exercise boosts both your vocabulary and your confidence in speaking. Interactive exercises are an essential part of this learning journey for learners. I invite you now to repeat the following sentences with me, paying close attention to the natural rhythm and emphasis in speech. Say, I appreciate your help. Could you please repeat that? I'm sorry I didn't catch that. That sounds interesting. I would love to join. Repeat each sentence several times until it feels comfortable and natural. These exercises build your muscle memory for common conversational phrases and structures. Now imagine yourself at a live music concert. The announcer's voice, full of energy, fills the venue as they introduce the headliner. They say, "Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an unforgettable performance by tonight's star." Such vibrant expressions require you to match enthusiasm naturally. Visualize yourself in that setting. What would you say if you wanted to compliment the performance? Perhaps the energy on stage is electrifying. Practicing such dynamic language can help you adjust tone and pace to suit different emotional contexts and situations effectively. Next, picture yourself in a quiet bookstore. You approach a clerk and ask, "Could you recommend a good mystery novel?" The clerk smiles. The clerk replies, "Certainly. This bestseller has a captivating plot and intriguing characters." This simple interaction introduces descriptive adjectives and polite inquiries in practice. How would you describe your favorite book or genre? Spend a few moments thinking about this and practice forming sentences in detail. Let's turn our attention now to public services. Imagine you're at a government office applying for a new passport. The clerk greets you politely. The clerk says, "Good morning, how may I assist you today?" You reply, "I need to renew my passport, please." Speaking clearly and politely, the conversation continues with precise questions and answers, such as, "Could you please provide your current passport number, and do you have documents?" These formal exchanges require you to be both clear and concise. Practice such dialogues with a friend or role-play them at home. Notice how using polite expressions like please and thank you makes the conversation smoother and more effective in formal settings. Another scenario involves visiting a healthcare facility. Imagine sitting in a doctor's office where the physician asks, "How have you been feeling recently?" You might answer, "I have been experiencing headaches and a bit of fatigue." The doctor then follows up with another careful question. The doctor asks, "Can you describe the nature of your headaches?" Such conversations demand clear communication about your symptoms for better understanding. Practice describing common health issues in simple, direct language. Repeating phrases like, "I feel unwell" or "the pain is moderate" will prepare you. This practice will prepare you for real-life medical discussions. Digital communication also plays a crucial role in modern English learning today. Consider video calls, where you see not only the speaker's words, but also their facial expressions and gestures in real time. In a recent video meeting, a colleague said, "Can everyone see my screen?" and quickly followed up with another polite request. They said, "Please let me know if you have any questions." Video calls require a blend of clear speaking and active listening. Practice these interactions by joining online webinars or virtual meetups. The more you expose yourself to different digital communication styles, the better. The more natural they will become over time. Now let's explore how discussing current events can enrich your language skills and abilities. Imagine listening to a news report that states local communities are coming together to address recent flooding and natural disasters in their area. Such statements are filled with formal language and important vocabulary. After listening, try summarizing the news in your own words afterwards. The report discussed how neighborhoods are uniting to deal with severe floods. This exercise helps you process information and retain new vocabulary better. It also helps you practice summarizing, which is a key skill in both listening and speaking for advanced learners. Another engaging scenario is participating in group discussions or debates. Picture yourself at a community forum where the topic is social media. The topic is the impact of social media on daily life. A participant might begin with a confident statement to the group. They might say, "I believe social media has revolutionized the way we communicate, but it also presents challenges such as privacy concerns." You might respond with, "I agree that social media has its benefits, but I'm curious about its effects on interactions face-to-face." Engaging in debates not only exposes you to different viewpoints, but also teaches you how to articulate your opinions clearly in English. Reflect on group discussions you've been part of. What phrases did you use to express agreement or to politely disagree with others? Practice these phrases until they become part of your conversational toolkit. Next, let's consider practical everyday shopping scenarios you may experience. Imagine entering a department store and needing assistance finding an item. You might approach a sales associate and ask for help. You ask, "Excuse me, could you help me locate the electronics section?" The associate might reply, "Yes, it's on the second floor. It's near the home appliances area." Such interactions, though brief, are essential in daily life because they emphasize polite inquiries and clear directions. Visualize yourself in this scenario and practice the key phrases. How would you modify your request if you needed additional information clearly? For example, you could say, "Could you please show me where that is?" Repeating these exchanges makes you more comfortable in shopping situations. Let's also look at scenarios where you might need to handle unexpected challenges. Imagine you're out with friends and suddenly the weather changes. You might hear someone say, "It looks like we're in for a downpour. Let's find shelter before it gets worse outside quickly." In such moments, clear and calm communication is essential. You might add, "I'll grab my umbrella," or ask, "Does anyone know somewhere? Does anyone know where we can take cover?" These spontaneous conversations require you to be quick on your feet and responsive. Reflect on unexpected situations you've encountered. How did you communicate in the moment? Practice with a friend so you feel ready to respond. Consider next a scenario involving a friendly debate on a lighthearted topic, such as discussing favorite cuisines at a dinner gathering. Imagine sitting at a dinner party where someone remarks Italian food is the best because of its rich flavors and variety available. You might respond, "I love Italian food too, but I'm also fond of the spicy kick of Thai cuisine personally." This type of dialogue helps you practice comparing ideas and expressing preferences clearly. Notice the descriptive language used in such conversations. Words like rich, variety, spicy, and fond add color to your conversation. Ask yourself which adjectives you commonly use to describe preferences. Practice crafting sentences that incorporate these descriptive words to enhance your communication. Let's now transition to scenarios involving nonverbal cues and body language. Even though our focus is listening and speaking, nonverbal elements play a key role. Picture a friend explaining an exciting news story. Even if you cannot see them during a phone call, imagine their tone of voice conveys excitement and adds emotion to words. Their laughter, the slight pause before a punchline, and the change in pitch all signal their emotions. These cues matter deeply. While practicing on your own, try to incorporate these elements. Smile as you speak and notice how your tone changes naturally. Even without a visual cue, these subtleties make your speech more engaging and natural. We have now reached an important point. Each scenario builds upon the previous one, enriching your understanding of real-life English in multiple ways throughout the process. As you continue your practice, remember, every conversation is a stepping stone on your journey toward fluency and confidence in speaking English. The everyday interactions we've discussed, ordering food, asking for directions, professional meetings, cultural events, unexpected challenges, each offers valuable opportunities for practice. Each one helps improve your listening and speaking skills. Imagine your future self confidently navigating any situation, whether casual or formal, whether conversing with a stranger in a cafe or leading a meeting at work. Visualize the progress you will make every day, immersing yourself in varied scenarios. Practicing key phrases and learning from every interaction will make your English responses more intuitive. Let's now explore even more nuanced interactions and advanced conversational techniques. Picture a lively dinner party hosted by a close friend. The host welcomes everyone warmly by saying, "I'm thrilled that you all could join me tonight. Let's raise a toast to friendship." Conversations buzz around the table. Guests share stories about their day, debate current events, and reminisce about old times together. In one corner, someone remarks this meal is absolutely delicious, a real feast for the senses. In another, a discussion unfolds. The discussion is about travel experiences and future plans. Notice the shift in language from casual greetings to expressive narratives in conversations. How would you describe such an experience in your own words? Practice forming sentences that capture facts as well as emotions. Practice forming sentences that capture not only the facts, but also the emotions of the moment. This will make your speaking more vivid. Now, consider another setting, a professional workshop where participants share innovative ideas. The facilitator starts with a welcoming message to everyone. They say we are here to collaborate on creative solutions. One participant explains their idea with confidence to the whole group. They say my idea is to develop an app that connects community members with local events in their city or town. Following the presentation, the facilitator asks, can anyone offer feedback or suggest improvements? This exchange encourages constructive criticism and polite expression of opinions. Think about a project or idea you're passionate about. How would you explain it in a way that's clear and engaging? Role-play this conversation focusing on clarity, organization, and the natural flow of ideas. This practice makes professional English much easier. We can also delve into the art of negotiating, an essential skill in both personal and professional life for success. Imagine you're at a market and wish to negotiate the price of a souvenir. The vendor sets a price firmly. The vendor says, this item is priced at $20. You might reply politely, could you do $15 for this item? The vendor might counter, how about $18 instead? Engaging in such negotiations teaches you to use polite language while expressing your needs. Practice using phrases like, would you consider or is there any possibility of a discount? These will help in bargaining situations. Such exercises build vocabulary and prepare you for real-life situations. Next, envision a scenario in a creative brainstorming session with colleagues. The atmosphere is dynamic and ideas flow freely between team members. A colleague suggests a marketing strategy focused on social media influencers. You add, that's an interesting idea. Could you elaborate on how we might implement it in practical steps for success? The discussion evolves with participants building on the previous idea. In these situations, it is vital to listen actively and summarize clearly. Reflect on how you might contribute to such discussions. What phrases would you use to express agreement or to request more details? Practice these conversational tools until they become second nature. Imagine, too, the challenge of speaking with confidence during unexpected interviews or presentations. Perhaps you're at a networking event and someone asks, can you tell me about your work? You need to respond quickly. You might respond with a brief, confident summary. I work in digital marketing, helping businesses connect with audiences through innovative online strategies. This type of spontaneous speaking requires you to organize thoughts quickly and express them clearly under pressure. Without preparation beforehand, practice by preparing a few short introductions about yourself and your work. Repeat them until they sound natural and relaxed every time. We've covered scenarios from formal meetings and support calls to casual dinners and lively debates. Each emphasizes listening, questioning, and clear expression. As you move forward, incorporate these techniques into your daily interactions. Whether one-on-one or group, every conversation refines your skills further. Now, consider integrating multimedia into your practice. Audiobooks, radio shows, and podcasts offer authentic language exposure with clear pronunciation and context. I remember listening to a popular British audiobook narrated by an actor with crisp pronunciation. I paused often to repeat sentences carefully. I mimicked the intonation. Such shadowing exercises can improve your accent, rhythm, and fluency. Choose a short audio clip you enjoy. Practice shadowing it by repeating exactly what the speaker says. Notice subtle inflections and natural pauses the speaker uses for emphasis. Over time, your ability to understand and replicate these patterns enhances your speaking proficiency. In addition, consider using language learning apps. Many apps feature interactive lessons where you record your voice, receive feedback, and compare your pronunciation with native speakers instantly. This immediate feedback is invaluable for improvement. Ask yourself which app or resource has helped you the most in learning English. If you haven't tried one yet, explore a few and see which fits your learning style best for long-term growth. We have now covered numerous scenarios from everyday errands and social gatherings to professional environments and cultural events for learners. Each situation immerses you in real-life English and builds confidence in listening and speaking skills step by step. As you practice, remember, improvement comes gradually. Celebrate small successes and view mistakes as opportunities for learning, not setbacks. Now, let's move on to exploring even more nuanced interactions and advanced techniques building on everything we've discussed so far. Imagine engaging in a lively debate about current events with diverse friends. One person says social media has revolutionized communication completely, but it has also created challenges in maintaining genuine relationships. You could respond, "I see your point," and add a question. You could ask, "I wonder how we can balance technological advancements with personal connection. What do you think are practical solutions?" This exchange requires listening carefully, processing viewpoints, and articulating thoughts clearly. Practice summarizing what others say, then building on it with insights. This active engagement improves both listening and speaking. Think about applying these techniques in daily life. Perhaps start a conversation journal. Write down interesting phrases, idioms, or vocabulary you hear each day. Reflect on conversations, what worked well, and what could improve next time. This reflective practice turns everyday interactions into valuable learning experiences. Consider exploring role-playing with a partner or even alone in front of a mirror. Imagine various scenarios: a job interview, a customer complaint, a casual chat. Act them out repeatedly until comfortable with the vocabulary. Role-playing reinforces learned vocabulary and helps develop natural, confident speaking style. Challenge yourself by switching roles between speaker and listener as practice. How does your language change in each role? This builds adaptability and awareness of conversational nuances useful in real English. Furthermore, delve into abstract topics like dreams, ambitions, or philosophical questions. For instance, ask, "What do you believe is most important for success?" Such open-ended questions invite detailed responses and require critical thinking in English. They also give you vocabulary for complex subjects naturally. Practice forming your thoughts and sharing them clearly. Over time, you'll find discussing complex subjects improves dramatically in English conversation. As you continue, it's important to vary input sources. Listen to podcasts from different regions, watch interviews with different accents, and read aloud. Reading aloud from various genres, fiction, nonfiction, poetry, offers unique challenges and rewards. Each medium enriches your overall understanding of English deeply. Ask yourself which source of English you enjoy the most. How can you incorporate it daily into your practice routine consistently? Balancing different types of content ensures you're prepared for any situation, whether formal or informal. Casual or professional conversations? Imagine attending a live workshop at a community center. The facilitator greets warmly, saying, "Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to dive in." As the workshop progresses, you participate in group activities, share ideas, and listen with genuine interest to others' contributions carefully. You might say, "I found that exercise very inspiring. It really opened my mind to new possibilities and creativity for learning." Reflect on how structured yet creative environments force you to adapt language in real time, using prepared phrases and spontaneous responses naturally. How can you seek out more opportunities like this? Another engaging context is interacting with people in informal digital spaces like forums. Consider joining an online discussion board about travel, cooking, or technology. These platforms let you see natural written English in action. They also provide a less intimidating environment to practice your skills. Read discussions, note interesting phrases, and contribute your own thoughts actively. Ask yourself, what have you learned from online conversations that you wouldn't encounter in formal settings? Use this diversity to your advantage. Also consider disagreements online. Even with clear writing, misunderstandings happen. Practicing polite clarification phrases will strengthen both written and spoken communication. Embrace the diversity of language and use it as a tool to enhance your spoken English later in natural conversations everywhere. We have now journeyed through numerous scenarios and exercises designed to immerse you in real-life English step by step clearly. Each experience, from ordering coffee and negotiating prices to debating current events and storytelling, builds your ability to understand and respond naturally. Remember, every conversation you engage in is an opportunity to learn. Every mistake is a stepping stone to improvement in communication. Keep challenging yourself, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process of learning English every day for steady improvement. So imagine you're stepping into the world of English conversation. You might feel nervous or unsure about expressing yourself in English. That's perfectly normal. Every time you try, you're improving your skills and getting better at understanding how English really works in practice. When it comes to speaking English confidently, it's not about being perfect. It's about being clear and feeling comfortable while communicating. Let's go ahead and look at how you can start by practicing small, everyday phrases that build up confidence gradually. These are things you can use in almost any situation, whether at the store, meeting someone new, or talking with friends. For example, when introducing yourself to someone, you can say, "Hi, my name is your name, nice to meet you." This simple sentence might seem easy, but it's a great way to practice pronunciation, tone, and timing every single day. Another great sentence to know is, "How are you today?" It's a friendly, welcoming way to start a conversation with someone. When people ask how you're doing, just respond with something simple like, "I'm doing well, thank you," or "I'm good, how about you?" This is an easy way to keep the conversation going and show you're ready to talk naturally with others around you. Next, let's talk about how to express your thoughts clearly. You don't have to use long, complicated sentences to be understood. In fact, sometimes simple sentences are the most effective. For example, if someone asks what you did today, you could say something. You could say, "I went to the park," or "I worked on a project." Keeping things clear helps the listener understand better. It also makes you feel more comfortable as you speak. One challenge is knowing how to react in different situations quickly. Sometimes it's tricky to know what to say next, especially if the topic changes quickly in a conversation between people. The key is to listen closely to what the other person is saying. If they ask a question, respond with interest. You can say, "That sounds interesting," or "I never thought of it that way." These phrases show you're actively listening carefully. They help you build a stronger connection with the other person naturally. If you're not sure how to respond, don't worry. It's okay to take a moment to think before speaking. A good way to buy time is saying, "Let me think." You can say, "Let me think about that for a second." This phrase buys you time to gather your thoughts politely. It also gives you confidence to respond thoughtfully. When speaking in formal settings like interviews or meetings, use slightly different phrases instead. The idea is the same. Be clear, concise, and confident. Instead of saying, "I like this idea," say something formal. You could say, "I believe this is a good approach." This makes your statement sound more formal but communicates the same thing. Remember, the key to speaking confidently is practice regularly. You don't need to wait for a special occasion to practice English. You can practice every day, even just a few minutes. For example, practice English while doing everyday tasks like shopping or cooking. If you're at the grocery store, read the labels on products in English or practice saying the names of items aloud. You can also practice with friends or family by talking about your day or asking about their plans naturally in English. One of the best ways to practice speaking is by using apps or language exchange programs available online to learners. These can help you practice with other learners or even native speakers. If you're not sure where to start, look for online communities where people help each other practice speaking English. There are lots of people willing to exchange. Another great tip is to listen to English podcasts, watch TV shows, or read books in English regularly each week. When you listen to English, you start to hear common phrases and expressions that you can use in conversations yourself later. Try repeating the phrases you hear and practice saying them aloud. This helps you get used to rhythm and flow. Don't forget to celebrate your progress. Every conversation is a step forward. Even mistakes are part of learning and improving constantly. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Soon enough, you'll be speaking English naturally and confidently better than ever before. Another important part of building confidence is finding topics you're passionate about. If you're excited, it will be easier to speak. For example, if you love sports practice, talking about your favorite teams or players in English with friends or classmates. If you enjoy cooking practice, describing recipes, or talking about favorite dishes, talking about things you enjoy builds confidence and motivation. But what if you don't feel like you have much to talk about? That's okay too. Casual conversation also helps. You don't always need a big story. Sometimes casual conversation is enough. You can start with simple questions for practice. You might ask, "What did you do today?" or "Do you like this movie?" Small talk builds confidence steadily with time. Lastly, remember, building confidence in speaking English is a journey, not a race. It takes time and practice with ups and downs. As long as you keep pushing forward, you'll improve. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid to speak up. Every conversation is an opportunity to practice. Each one brings you closer to your goal of speaking English confidently and fluently. Let's continue. It's great that you're ready to dive deeper into improving your English skills step by step, consistently. Let's build on everything we've covered so far by focusing more on everyday English and real-life examples you can apply. Remember, English isn't just about knowing words. It's about how you use them, when you use them, and comfort while speaking. The more real-life scenarios you practice, the more you'll feel like an English speaker and less like just a learner. Let's start with chatting with friends or family. These are great opportunities to practice speaking in a relaxed, natural way together. Maybe you're having lunch with a friend. You could say, "This food is delicious. How did you make it?" Or something else. Or say, "I love the taste of this dish. Do you know where I can find the recipe to try?" By starting with something simple, you're practicing how to start and continue conversations. The more you practice, the more comfortable you feel. Now let's look at how to make small talk in different places. For example, at the grocery store or supermarket nearby. You might be standing in line and say, "It looks like it's going to rain today. Do you think so?" Or you could say, "These fruits look so fresh. Have you tried them?" You're not just practicing vocabulary, you're practicing conversations. You're practicing how to make observations and ask questions to start talking. Small talk is great practice without much pressure in English. You can even practice English when running errands. Let's say you're at the post office sending a package overseas to someone. You might need to ask, "Can you help me? I need to send this package overseas. What do I need?" This sentence practices asking for help and discussing a common activity. Don't worry about mistakes. What matters is practicing naturally. It's not just about talking with strangers or in public. Sometimes you'll want deeper conversations with friends and family about meaningful things. When discussing something personal, it's important to know how to express yourself clearly. You might want to tell a friend something exciting. You could say, "I had an amazing weekend. I went to a concert with friends and the band was incredible." You could also ask, "Have you ever been to a concert like that?" You're sharing an experience and inviting them to respond. Here, you're not just telling a story, you're also giving your friend an opportunity to share their thoughts and stories too. Now let's think about practicing English when you're alone. Many people struggle with this, but self-practice can be very effective actually. You can read aloud from books or watch a TV show in English and try repeating what the characters say naturally. It might feel strange at first, but over time, it improves your pronunciation, rhythm, and overall fluency. Another method is journaling. You can talk about your day in English. For example, today I woke up early, had breakfast, and then went to work. After work, I met a friend for coffee. It was a busy day, but a good one. This practice is simple. It's a way to form sentences and use vocabulary meaningfully. As you gain confidence, you can try more specific conversations on topics. It could be about sports, movies, hobbies, or current events. The goal is to expand vocabulary and learn to express yourself. If you're talking about sports, you might say, "I'm a huge fan of soccer. My favorite team is Chelsea. Do you like soccer?" Or if you're talking about movies, you could ask, "Have you seen any good movies recently? I just watched one and loved it." One of the most important things to remember is that it's not about complicated words. It's about clear communication every time. Don't be afraid to use simple sentences, especially as a beginner. For instance, "I'm learning English," or "I like this song." They may seem basic, but they're perfect for expressing thoughts clearly. Later, you can add details. For example, "I've been learning for 6 months. I've been learning English for 6 months and I'm getting better every day." This adds depth while still being understandable to others. Also, remember, every conversation is an opportunity to learn. Mistakes are natural and give you the chance to grow, not fail. For example, at the store, you might say, "How much is this?" If the cashier responds, "It's $5, you might reflect. You might think, "Oh, I should have said, 'How much does this cost?'" Don't worry, these small mistakes help you progress. The goal is not perfection, but progress. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment in English? Maybe saying something wrong unexpectedly, or maybe you couldn't think of the right word at the right time. It's okay. It happens to everyone learning languages. Even fluent speakers make mistakes. For example, once when I was learning English, I tried to order food at a restaurant. I accidentally said I would like a coffee with a spoon instead of a spoon with my coffee. The waiter smiled. The waiter corrected me kindly. It was a funny moment. These small mistakes teach you a lot and help you remember. The key is not letting mistakes discourage you. Laugh at them and learn from them. They will help you next time. Now let's look at improving your listening skills. One of the best ways is listening to English every single day consistently. This could mean watching movies, listening to podcasts, or talking with someone. You can even combine listening with reading for better results. Start by watching shows with subtitles to connect spoken and written words. As you improve, try watching without subtitles to test yourself. Over time, your listening skills improve. You'll follow conversations more easily. When listening, focus on rhythm and tone, not just words. Native speakers don't always speak slowly like in classrooms. They use contractions, slang, and often speak quickly. It can be tough at first, but practice makes it easier. For example, a native might say, "What are you doing tonight?" instead of "What are you doing tonight?" This contraction is common. Once you get used to it, listening to English becomes easier and faster. Practice makes natural understanding possible. A great way to practice is listening to conversations between friends or family. For example, watch shows and notice their conversations. Pay attention to how they respond to each other. Notice the questions they ask and how they show interest naturally. Pause the video and repeat what they say. This improves pronunciation and sentence structure. Podcasts are also great for listening practice. Listening to real conversations between people shows natural pauses, tone changes, and different ways to phrase things. It's incredibly helpful overall. Over time, you'll become a more confident speaker and listener. Whether casual chats or serious discussions, you'll adapt to both types. Let's continue and dive deeper into making your English journey practical. Use real-life situations and personal examples whenever possible. The key to mastering a language is immersing yourself as much as possible. Engage in conversations that feel natural and connected. When you listen to people talking English, movies, podcasts, real conversations, you pick up how they structure sentences and express feelings clearly. This is hard to learn from textbooks because it's about rhythm, flow, and natural expression of emotions, not just grammar rules. Think about it. With friends, you don't follow strict grammar. You speak from the heart and adapt based on situations naturally. Let me share a personal example. One time, I traveled to a foreign country and tried ordering food at a local restaurant. The waiter didn't speak English well, and I didn't speak the local language. It was tricky, but we communicated with gestures. We pointed to items on the menu and asked questions like, "Is this spicy?" or "Can I have it without sauce?" Even though we didn't share a language fluently, the experience taught me the importance of creative ways to communicate with others. Similarly, when speaking English, it's not about perfection. It's about making yourself understood and adapting to situations flexibly in conversations. This kind of experience is valuable for improving speaking and listening. Real-life conversations don't allow time for planning each word carefully. Instead, practice speaking naturally, even if mistakes happen. It's a great way to build confidence in your English skills steadily. Think about the little things you say daily with friends or coworkers. For example, talking about a recent event naturally in English. You might say, "I went to a concert last weekend. It was amazing. Have you ever been to one?" This works. This sentence practices past tense while telling a story others can relate to. Real-life experiences teach conversation flow, not just grammar. It's not enough to speak complete sentences. Practice making conversations flow. Imagine two friends talking. One says, "I had a busy day." The other asks, "What did you do?" This practice builds rhythm. One response leads to another. This is true communication flow. Listening to conversations like this, focus on details, stressed words, pauses, or emotions. For example, someone says, "I can't believe it." They may express surprise or disbelief. Understanding tone and emotion helps you better understand what the speaker really means in context. So next time you listen to a conversation, pay attention not just to words, but how people speak, including their emotions. Let me give you another example. A friend of mine was talking about her experience of moving to a new city recently. She said it was overwhelming at first. Everything was new people, new places, new routine. Notice how she emphasized the unfamiliarity. She used the word new repeatedly to stress her feelings. This type of speech is common in conversations and reveals emotion behind words. By listening to how people express feelings and experiences, you'll be able to practice expressing yourself in similar, natural ways. You don't need to look far for examples. Think about conversations you hear daily at coffee shops, buses, TV shows, or movies. Each of these situations offers a unique opportunity to improve your listening skills and observe real English in action naturally. For instance, if you're watching a TV show, focus on how characters react to different situations. Do they show surprise, frustration, or happiness? Emotional expression is just as important as vocabulary. It helps you understand the context in which certain words are used naturally. When I was learning English, I watched many sitcoms to get used to how native speakers express themselves casually every day. For example, in the show, Friends characters often say, "Could you be any more dramatic or it's not that big of a deal?" These phrases sound casual or funny, but are common in real conversations. Watching them in context helps you understand rhythm and tone. I picked up how native speakers talk informally by noticing their natural style. This gave me confidence in casual conversations with others. One big challenge for learners is speed. Native speakers talk much faster than expected. It's hard to catch every word at first. But real-life experiences are useful. The more you practice listening to natural conversations, the better you'll understand the flow. It's okay if you don't catch every word at first. That's normal. The more you listen, the more you improve steadily. Don't forget about speaking practice. Mimicking real conversations is one of the best ways to improve fluency in English every day. For example, after listening to a podcast or watching a video, repeat some sentences you heard. Focusing on pronunciation, rhythm, and tone. You can also practice speaking aloud in front of a mirror. Recording yourself helps identify areas for improvement and track progress. It's like learning an instrument. The more you practice, the better you get with time, patience, and repetition daily. Another important aspect is learning levels of formality. At work, you might say, "Could you please send me the report by today?" But with friends, you might say, "Hey, can you send me that report by today?" The meaning is similar, but tone changes. In both cases, you're asking something, but style changes with context. Practicing this helps you communicate effectively in different environments. In the workplace, there are phrases used often. For instance, you may need to clarify something politely with a colleague in English. You could say, "I just wanted to clarify what you meant in the meeting earlier. Could you please explain it again clearly?" This politely asks for more information in a professional way. It's an excellent example of practicing formal English in context properly. On the other hand, chatting in the break room might sound less formal. You might say, "Hey, I didn't get what you meant." You could add, "Can you explain it to me?" Less formal, but still polite and clear. Both styles are important to know. Finally, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to improve your English. Practice. The more you practice, the more confident. You don't have to be perfect. What matters most is putting yourself out there, engaging in conversations, and making progress every day. The more you practice real-life situations, the easier it is to speak naturally and understand others. This builds confidence effectively. Now let's continue. One of the most important things is steady exposure. Practice listening and speaking regularly in real contexts. Another way to grow is reflecting on progress. Keep notes of new phrases, mistakes, or experiences and review them regularly for improvement. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment in English? If yes, write it down and think what you could say differently next time. Reflecting this way turns mistakes into learning opportunities. That attitude makes your journey more enjoyable and productive as a learner. Now think about simple conversations with friends. For example, one says, "I had such a busy day today." The other asks, "What did you do?" This back and forth trains you to listen and respond quickly. It builds natural rhythm. Conversations are about flow, not memorized lines. So practice with friends, colleagues, or language partners. If you don't have one, you can role-play with yourself. It's also effective. Imagine situations and talk through them. For example, practice ordering food, asking directions, or chatting about hobbies. Do it aloud daily. It may feel strange, but it builds confidence and fluency. The more you practice out loud, the more natural it becomes. Also practice emotional expression. For example, when saying, "I can't believe it," try sounding surprised. when saying it's not a big deal. Sound casual. Tone makes meaning clearer. Pay attention to this in conversations or shows. Repeat lines with matching tone until it feels natural. This helps you understand others better and makes your own speaking more authentic. Improving both listening and communication skills together. Learning English is a process of continuous interaction. Reading books and memorizing grammar helps. But conversations build fluency every day. Real fluency comes from practice, mistakes, listening, and responding. Each conversation, no matter how small, is a valuable step forward always. So keep engaging, keep practicing, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. Confidence will grow naturally over time with dedication. Another important aspect of real-life English is learning the different levels of formality for different contexts and social environments daily. For instance, when you're at work, you might say, "Could you please send me the report by the end of the day?" But when you're talking to a friend, you might say, "Hey, can you send me that report by today?" casually and naturally. In both situations, you're asking for something, but the way you say it changes depending on the context and relationship involved. Practicing different levels of formality helps you learn how to communicate effectively in both professional and casual situations with confidence. In the workplace, certain phrases are common. For instance, if you're working in an office, you might need to clarify something politely. You could say, "I just wanted to clarify what you meant in the meeting earlier. Could you please explain it again clearly?" In this case, you're politely asking for more information. It's a great example of formal English in a professional context daily. On the other hand, if you're chatting with a coworker in the break room, you might say, "Hey, I didn't get that." You could add, "Can you explain it to me?" This is less formal, but still clear and polite to your colleague. Finally, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to improve your English practice. The more you practice, the better. The more confident you'll become. You don't have to be perfect. What matters most is engaging in conversations and making steady progress. Everyday practice with real-life situations. The more you do, the easier it becomes to speak naturally and understand others. Another important reminder: consistency. The more consistent your practice, the stronger your listening and speaking skills will become over time. Think of learning English like building a muscle. Every conversation, exercise, or listening activity makes you stronger step by step gradually. So don't worry about mistakes. Focus on daily progress. Small steps add up, and soon you will notice big improvements naturally. Have you ever noticed how some learners freeze in real conversations? It's because they fear mistakes. But mistakes are proof you're learning. The more you speak, the faster you'll improve. Fluency doesn't come from silence. It comes from trying, failing, learning, and repeating. So put yourself in situations where you must speak English. Even if it's uncomfortable, it's the best way to grow. Every chance to speak, listen, and interact will bring you closer to confidence. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep enjoying the process. Now think about this. Every time you hear or repeat a phrase, you're programming your brain to respond naturally next time. It's like training reflexes. The more you practice key phrases, the faster you'll be able to use them without hesitation. For example, when ordering coffee, if you practice, "I'd like a cappuccino, please," enough times, it becomes automatic in real life. That's why repetition is powerful. Listen, repeat, and use phrases until they're second nature. Then your brain retrieves them instantly. Think of English as a tool. The more you handle it, the more skilled you become. Use it daily, even briefly. Talk to yourself in English. Write notes, or describe what you're doing. Every small practice session counts toward fluency and confidence. Another thing, pay attention to listening actively. Don't just hear words. Notice tone, rhythm, pauses, and emphasis. This is real English in action. Native speakers often use contractions, slang, or informal phrasing. Once you recognize these patterns, you'll understand faster and respond more naturally. Remember, listening and speaking work together. The more you listen, the better you speak. The more you speak, the better you listen. So keep balancing both. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, repeat phrases aloud, and practice speaking with people regularly and intentionally. Each method supports the other. Gradually, you'll notice smoother speech, clearer pronunciation, and stronger confidence in English. Fluency is not about knowing every word. It's about using what you know naturally. Confidence grows from practice, not perfection. Every conversation is a chance to improve. Celebrate small wins like understanding a joke, asking for directions, or finishing a conversation smoothly. These are real progress markers. They show you're growing step by step. Focus on them instead of worrying about what you can't do. So keep practicing. Speak with friends. Listen to English daily. Repeat useful phrases. And don't fear mistakes. This is the path forward. With time, you'll find yourself speaking more naturally, listening more easily, and feeling more confident than ever before in English. Another important point to remember is patience. Learning English takes time. It's not something that happens overnight or in 1 week. It requires dedication and consistent practice. Some days will feel easy, while others may feel frustrating. Both are normal parts of learning. On difficult days, remind yourself that progress is still happening, even if you can't see it right away. Every effort counts. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't see the plant grow immediately, but with water and care, it eventually appears. Each listening exercise, conversation, or new word you learn is like watering that seed. Over time, your English will blossom beautifully. Also remember, everyone learns differently. Some people learn better through listening, others through reading, speaking, or writing. Try all methods and see. Experiment with different styles to discover what works best for you. Some learners enjoy listening to music, while others prefer podcasts. Some like writing in journals, while others practice by recording themselves speaking aloud. There's no single right way to learn English. The most important thing is finding methods that keep you motivated and engaged consistently. Enjoyable practice keeps you moving forward steadily. Now let's reflect on real-life English again. Think of situations you face daily, shopping, commuting, or meeting new people for conversations. Each situation is an opportunity to practice. At the store, you might say, "Excuse me, where can I find the milk section?" On the bus, you might ask, "Does this go to the city center?" These everyday situations are powerful chances to use English. Don't underestimate them. The more you practice small conversations, the more confident you'll feel in larger, more complex conversations later. For example, chatting with a cashier builds confidence for talking with colleagues at work. Every small interaction prepares you for bigger ones. Step by step, your English grows stronger. Another useful practice is learning set phrases you can use in different common situations naturally. For example, in restaurants, you can say, "Could I see the menu, please? Can I have the bill, please?" Or, "I'd like this." At airports, useful phrases include, "Where is the check-in counter? How much is the baggage fee?" Or, "What time does boarding start?" These set phrases are like tools in your pocket. The more you practice them, the more automatic they become when needed. You'll use them without thinking twice. That's what fluency feels like. Speaking and responding naturally without pausing to translate mentally. Have you ever noticed how children learn languages quickly? It's because they listen, repeat, and use simple phrases again and again. They don't study grammar first. They build fluency through practice and repetition. Adults can do the same with consistent exposure daily, so don't pressure yourself to memorize every rule. Focus on using English practically. Grammar will come naturally through repetition and listening. For instance, if you often say, I am going, you'll naturally learn to use she is going. They are going correctly. Practice and exposure teach grammar in a natural way. It's effective and less stressful than only memorizing rules from books. Another key is confidence. Believe in your ability to learn. Doubt slows progress, but confidence speeds it up by encouraging practice daily. Even if your English isn't perfect, speak with courage. People respect effort and will usually support you when you try sincerely. Think of it this way. If someone speaks your language imperfectly but tries, you appreciate their effort, not their grammar mistakes. The same is true for you. People appreciate your effort to communicate in English. Confidence makes conversation smoother and more enjoyable. Now let's consider storytelling. Sharing personal stories is one of the best ways to practice and connect in English conversations daily. When you tell a story, you practice past tense, description, and emotion. For example, last weekend, I went hiking with some friends. It was challenging but beautiful. We saw mountains, rivers, and had a picnic at the top. Storytelling builds fluency and engages listeners. People love stories. They make conversations memorable and meaningful. Start with small stories and gradually share longer ones as confidence grows. Listening to others' stories also helps. Notice how they structure events, use descriptive words, and express emotions. Try repeating these techniques yourself. Over time, storytelling improves vocabulary, grammar, and fluency naturally. It also builds deeper connections with people you talk to in English. Because stories are universal, everyone has experiences to share. By practicing this skill, you make your English not only fluent, but human. So don't be afraid to share your life in English. Talk about your day, your dreams, or funny moments you experienced. These stories make learning enjoyable and practical. The more you share, the stronger your speaking skills and confidence become every day. Another effective technique is shadowing. This means listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say immediately. Almost like an echo, this practice helps you match pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. For example, listen to a podcast sentence and try repeating exactly the same. At first, it may feel difficult, but with practice, you'll notice your speech becomes smoother and more natural like the original speaker. Shadowing also trains your listening and speaking skills simultaneously. It's one of the fastest ways to sound more fluent naturally in English. Another powerful habit is thinking in English. Instead of translating every word from your native language, practice forming thoughts directly in English. For example, instead of thinking I need to buy bread and then translating, just think directly in English. I need to buy bread. This helps reduce hesitation and makes speaking quicker. The more you think in English, the more natural your conversations will feel. You can start with simple sentences about daily life. For instance, I am brushing my teeth, I am cooking dinner, I am walking. Gradually expand to more complex thoughts. For example, I should finish my project before dinner so I can relax in the evening. This daily practice trains your brain to switch naturally into English without relying on translation, which slows communication down. Another great strategy is connecting English learning with your personal interests. If you love music, learn English through song lyrics and practice. If you enjoy sports, follow sports news or podcasts in English. Connecting learning to your passions keeps you motivated and consistent every day. For example, if you like cooking, watch English recipes. You'll learn useful vocabulary like chop, boil, stir, and ingredients like garlic or onion. This method makes vocabulary practical and memorable. It also makes learning enjoyable because you're combining English with something you already love. Remember, motivation is key. When you enjoy learning, it doesn't feel like a task. It becomes a natural part of your life. Let's also talk about using technology. Nowadays, there are countless apps, websites, and tools to support English learning for every learner. Language exchange apps allow you to chat with native speakers. Video platforms provide endless listening materials. Flashcard apps help memorize vocabulary effectively. Use these tools wisely, but don't rely only on them. Real-life practice with people is still the most effective method. Technology is a supplement, not a replacement. Balance both, and you'll see faster progress. Use tools to practice, then apply in conversations. Now let's return to the idea of mistakes. They are not the enemy. In fact, mistakes are proof you're actively learning every day. If you never make mistakes, it means you're not practicing enough. Each mistake is a lesson that brings you closer to fluency. For example, if you say, "Yesterday I go to the park" instead of "Yesterday I went," you've learned something important instantly. You'll remember the correction better because it came from real use, not just a grammar exercise in a book or test. The key is to keep speaking. Don't wait for perfect English. Use what you know now. Perfection comes later with time. Think of children again. They speak imperfectly but improve through practice. Adults should do the same. Speak often, and improvement will follow naturally. Another point, surround yourself with English. Create an environment where the language is always present in your daily life for exposure. Change your phone settings to English. Label objects in your house with English words. Listen to English radio while cooking or commuting. The more exposure you get, the faster your brain adapts. It starts to recognize patterns and phrases automatically without conscious effort. This immersion technique works wonders. Soon you'll find yourself understanding and speaking English more easily and naturally in different situations daily. Let's talk about confidence in speaking with strangers. Many learners feel nervous, but strangers don't expect perfect English. They appreciate your effort. Start small. Ask for directions, order food, or say hello. Each small success builds confidence for larger conversations with strangers later. Over time, speaking becomes less scary. You'll realize most people are kind and patient when they see you're trying your best. Confidence grows step by step. Every attempt is progress. Remember, courage creates fluency, not hiding in silence or avoiding opportunities altogether. So keep pushing yourself gently out of your comfort zone. Each real conversation is a valuable lesson you can't learn from books. Even short conversations matter. A hello at the store or a thank you to a bus driver all count as practice daily. Celebrate those moments. They're stepping stones toward fluency. The journey is long, but each step takes you closer to confidence in English. Another useful method is journaling in English. Write a few sentences each day about your thoughts, experiences, or plans. Keep it simple. For example, today I went shopping, I bought fruit, and I cooked dinner. These small sentences train your brain to use English daily. Over time, you can expand into longer reflections like, "Today I felt tired, but writing in English helps me practice and relax." Journaling improves writing skills, builds vocabulary, and strengthens grammar naturally. It also helps you express emotions and ideas more clearly in English. If you enjoy creativity, try writing short stories or poems in English. This makes learning fun and develops imagination while practicing language. Another excellent practice, reading aloud. When you read English books, articles, or news stories, read them aloud instead of silently to yourself. This exercise improves pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. It also makes you comfortable speaking longer sentences smoothly without hesitation in daily conversations. Start with short texts, then gradually move to longer passages. Reading aloud builds fluency because it combines reading, speaking, and listening together. Another important practice is listening actively instead of just hearing sounds. Pay attention to word stress, intonation, and pauses carefully and regularly. For example, in the sentence, I didn't say she stole the money. Stress changes meaning depending on which word is emphasized when speaking. Understanding these differences helps you catch the real message in conversations. Active listening is key to understanding humor. Sarcasm or emotions. To improve active listening, replay short clips from podcasts or videos. Write what you hear, then compare with the transcript carefully each time. This trains your ears to notice small details. Over time, you'll understand English faster, even when people speak quickly or casually often. Another thing to remember, English has many accents: American, British, Australian, Canadian, and others all sound different but are equally valid forms. Expose yourself to different accents. Listen to speakers from various countries. This broadens your understanding and prepares you for real global communication. At first, some accents may seem difficult, but with practice, your ears adjust. Soon you'll find yourself understanding different voices easily daily. Think of it like learning to recognize different singers. Each voice is unique, but with time, you identify and enjoy them. So don't limit yourself to one accent. Variety strengthens listening skills and gives confidence to understand anyone you meet in English. Also, practice paraphrasing. If you don't know a word, explain it another way. For example, instead of refrigerator, you can say cold box. This keeps conversation going and prevents frustration. Paraphrasing is a powerful tool. It trains creativity and ensures communication even with limited vocabulary. Native speakers often do this too. They find different ways to explain until the listener understands. Practicing this makes you more flexible. Another effective habit is setting small goals. Instead of saying, I want to be fluent, set daily or weekly goals you can achieve. For example, today I will learn 5 new words. This week I will listen to 2 podcasts. Next week I will write a diary. These small goals keep motivation high. They create a clear path forward. Each goal achieved is a victory that boosts confidence steadily. Another tip: review often. Don't just learn new words and forget them. Repetition is key to memory. Review vocabulary regularly to strengthen recall. For example, use flashcards, apps, or notebooks. Write the word, meaning, and an example sentence. Test yourself again after 1 day, then after 1 week, then after 1 month. This spaced repetition system helps move words from short-term memory to long-term memory naturally. Finally, remember, learning English is not just about language. It's about connection. Each new phrase helps you connect with people worldwide. It opens doors to friendships, jobs, travel, and knowledge. English is a bridge that brings people together from different cultures and countries. So, when you practice, don't think only about grammar or mistakes. Think about the people you'll meet and the opportunities waiting for you. This perspective makes learning more meaningful. Every word you learn is not just vocabulary. It's a key to connection and understanding globally. Let's also talk about body language. Communication is not only about words. Facial expressions, gestures, and tone also carry meaning in conversations. For example, a smile shows friendliness, nodding shows agreement, and raising eyebrows can show surprise. Learning to read these cues improves understanding. Also, be aware of your own body language when speaking English. Standing confidently, making eye contact, and smiling make communication smoother and warmer. Even if your English isn't perfect, positive body language helps others understand and connect with you more easily in daily conversations. Another skill to develop is asking questions. Questions keep conversations going and show interest. Simple questions can lead to meaningful exchanges naturally. For example, where are you from? What do you like to do? Or how was your day? These open doors to dialogue. Questions also give you more listening practice. The more you listen, the more natural your responses will become in English conversations. Practice both asking and answering. This two-way skill builds confidence and makes conversations flow more naturally without awkward silences or hesitations daily. Let's talk about pronunciation again. Many learners worry about accents. But remember, having an accent is normal. Everyone has one, including native speakers. The goal is not to sound perfect, but to be understood clearly. Focus on clarity, not perfection. Communication is the real objective always. For example, the word water sounds different in American and British English. Both are correct. What matters is being understood by listeners. So don't be afraid of your accent. It's part of your identity. Work on pronunciation, but don't lose confidence if it's not perfect. Another tip is to practice tongue twisters. These fun exercises improve speed and clarity. For example, try saying she sells seashells by the seashore, or red lorry, yellow lorry. Practicing these regularly strengthens your mouth muscles and makes everyday speech clearer and more controlled naturally. Also, don't forget the importance of intonation. Flat speech can sound unnatural. Practice raising and lowering your voice to match emotions and questions. For example, when asking a yes or no question, your intonation usually rises at the end. Practicing this makes you sound more natural. Another helpful activity is recording yourself speaking. Listen to the recording and compare with native speakers. Notice differences in pronunciation and rhythm. This self-feedback is powerful. You'll catch mistakes you didn't notice while speaking. Over time, your recordings will show progress and improvement. Let's also highlight listening to songs in English. Music is a fantastic tool. Lyrics teach new vocabulary, slang, and emotional expression naturally. Choose songs you enjoy, listen, read the lyrics, and sing along. This builds rhythm, memory, and pronunciation while making learning fun every day. Many learners remember vocabulary better through songs because music connects words to emotions and rhythm. It becomes easier to recall later in conversations. Another tip: watch movies or shows with subtitles first. Then watch again without subtitles. This trains your listening gradually and effectively over time. At first, it may be difficult, but repetition helps. You'll start catching more words and phrases each time you re-watch carefully and attentively. Also, try imitating actors. Repeat their lines with the same emotion and tone. This improves not only pronunciation, but also expression and fluency. Entertainment becomes education. It's enjoyable and highly effective. Many learners improve fastest when combining fun with practice regularly and intentionally every day. Another important area is cultural awareness. Language is connected to culture. Understanding cultural context helps you use phrases correctly in conversations daily. For example, in some cultures, small talk about weather is common. In others, it may feel unnecessary. Learning these customs improves communication globally. Cultural knowledge helps avoid misunderstandings. It also shows respect and interest in the people you're talking to, which deepens connection and trust. So, along with learning English words, learn cultural habits. This combination makes your communication richer, more natural, and more effective internationally. Remember, English is a global language. You'll meet people from many cultures using it. Adaptability and openness make conversations smoother and friendlier everywhere. Another effective practice is joining language exchange groups. These are communities where learners and native speakers help each other practice through conversation. You can find such groups online or in your local city. Meeting people who share the same goal makes learning more enjoyable. Language exchange allows you to practice English while helping others learn your language. It's a win-win situation and builds cultural understanding as well. Conversations in these groups are often friendly and supportive. Mistakes are expected, so you can practice without fear or embarrassment naturally each time. Another option is hiring a tutor or joining a class. Structured lessons provide guidance, correction, and regular practice with professional support weekly. Tutors can tailor lessons to your needs. If you struggle with pronunciation, they can design exercises. If vocabulary is weak, they focus there. Classes also give you peers to practice with. Practicing in groups builds confidence and shows you're not alone on this journey daily. Let's also talk about time management. Many learners say they are too busy, but even 10 minutes a day can make progress. You don't need hours of study. Short, focused practice daily is better than long. Irregular sessions. Consistency is the real secret here. For example, listen to a short podcast during breakfast. Review flashcards on the bus, or write 2 sentences in a diary. These small habits add up over time, even with a busy life. You can create opportunities for English every single day. Another tip is celebrating your achievements. Many learners forget how far they've come. Take time to notice your progress regularly and clearly. Maybe you understood a movie without subtitles. Maybe you ordered food smoothly in English. These moments show real improvement, so celebrate them. Celebration builds motivation. It reminds you that learning is working. Progress may be slow sometimes, but each success proves you are improving steadily. Another point, be patient with listening. At first, native speakers may sound too fast, but with exposure, your ears adapt over time. Don't give up. Keep listening daily. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is learning patterns, rhythm, and intonation unconsciously always. One day you'll realize you understand much more than before. That's the power of consistent exposure and patience in language learning journeys. Another useful approach is visualization. Imagine yourself speaking English confidently in real situations, at work, traveling, or making friends. This mental practice builds confidence and reduces anxiety. The brain prepares itself for real action when you visualize success regularly with focus. Visualization is common among athletes, musicians, and speakers. It works for language learners too. Picture yourself speaking clearly and fluently every day. This positive mindset makes you more relaxed and confident when real opportunities come. It reduces fear and improves performance in conversations. Another reminder, compare yourself only to your past self, not others. Everyone learns at different speeds. Focus on your own journey always. If today you understand more than last month, that's progress. If you can say more than last year, you are improving clearly. Don't let comparison steal your motivation. Be proud of your steps. No matter how small, they all lead toward fluency gradually over time. Finally, remember why you started learning English. Maybe for career, travel, studies, or personal growth. Keep this reason close to your heart. Your reason is your fuel. Whenever you feel tired or discouraged, remind yourself of your goal. It will give you strength. English is more than words. It's opportunity, connection, and growth. Every effort you make brings you closer to that bigger vision daily. So keep practicing, stay consistent, and trust the process. Fluency is not a dream. It's a journey you are already walking today. Each step matters. Each word learned, each conversation attempted, each mistake corrected. Together, they build the bridge to confidence and fluency over time. Stay patient, stay motivated, and never give up. You are capable of learning and mastering English. Believe in yourself and keep going. Now let's bring everything together. Learning English is like building a house. You need strong foundations, steady effort, and patience to finish. The foundations are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Each skill supports the others. Focus on all 4 to make your English balanced. Steady effort means practicing every day, even in small ways. It could be listening to music, writing notes, or chatting briefly with friends. Patience is the roof. Without it, frustration leaks in. With patience, you stay dry and safe through the storms of difficulty and doubt. Remember, mistakes are bricks too. Each mistake is part of your house. Don't throw them away. Use them to build stronger walls daily. Your house may take time, but every day you add bricks, beams, and windows, slowly but surely. It becomes a home. English becomes your home too. A place you feel comfortable, confident, and welcome. A place where you can meet people worldwide daily. Think of all the opportunities waiting: new jobs, friendships, travel, books, movies, and cultures. English opens doors that lead to exciting adventures everywhere, even when you feel tired. Remind yourself of these opportunities. They're waiting on the other side of persistence and consistent effort daily. Another reflection: learning English is also learning courage. Every time you speak, you're showing bravery. You're choosing growth over fear, progress over silence. This courage will not only help in language, but also in life. It strengthens your character and teaches resilience in every challenge. Every conversation you attempt is practice for courage. Even when you stumble, you grow stronger. Courage is built step by step daily. So celebrate not only your English, but also your courage. You are becoming a stronger, more confident person through this journey today. Another point is community. Don't walk this path alone. Find friends, teachers, or groups to share your learning. Together, progress feels lighter. Sharing struggles and victories with others makes learning enjoyable. You'll realize many people face the same difficulties and celebrate the same successes. Together, you motivate each other. Community creates accountability and joy. It keeps you moving forward when motivation alone feels weak or fading away. Now think about your future self. Imagine 1 year from now, after consistent daily practice. How much better will your English be? Imagine yourself having smooth conversations, reading books easily, or traveling without stress. This vision is possible if you continue walking step by step. Don't underestimate small daily habits. They create huge results over time. Your future self will thank you for the effort you make today. Learning English is not just an academic goal, it's a life skill. It gives freedom, confidence, and connection that enrich every area of life. So be proud of yourself. You've already taken important steps. You're learning, practicing, and improving. That itself is a victory worth recognizing. No matter where you are now, you are further than before. Progress is progress. Be grateful and proud of your journey today. And remember, English is not about being perfect. It's about being understood, connecting, and expressing yourself. That is the true purpose always. So keep practicing with joy. Keep learning with patience. Keep speaking with courage. Step by step, you will become fluent and confident. Your journey is unique and beautiful. Don't rush it. Don't compare it. Just keep walking and enjoy the growth along the way daily. Every new word is a gift. Every conversation is a chance. Every mistake is a teacher. And every effort is a victory. Stay faithful to the process. English will become not only your skill, but also your strength, your bridge, and your freedom in life. Let's finish with a simple truth. English learning is not a destination, it is a journey. Journeys are lived one step at a time. You don't need to run. Walk steadily. Each day of practice is a step forward. 1 year of steps becomes a long road. And on this road, you'll discover not only new words, but also new strength, new courage, and new opportunities for growth in life. Think of Maria, a learner who started with fear. She could only say hello, but she practiced daily, step by step. At first, her sentences were broken. She made many mistakes, But she didn't give up. She smiled, spoke, and learned each day. Now, Maria can hold conversations, travel confidently, and make friends around the world. Her journey is proof of persistence, etiquette, and courage. Your journey can be the same, no matter where you start. Progress comes with practice. Each day adds to your improvement slowly. Another learner, Daniel, used journaling and podcasts. He wrote 3 sentences daily and listened to short stories. After a year, his English transformed. Daniel still makes mistakes, but he communicates clearly, enjoys movies, and works with international clients. His life opened new doors through English. Stories like Maria and Daniel remind us that fluency is possible. It's not a dream. It's a result of daily action. And now, it's your turn. You have the tools, the methods, and the courage. What remains is practice. Consistent, joyful, and patient. So take a deep breath. Believe in yourself. Start small. Stay steady, and keep going. English will soon become your trusted companion daily. Remember the keys. Listen often, speak bravely, read widely, write daily, review regularly, and stay connected with people. These habits guarantee progress. Don't let fear or comparison stop you. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And English is the bridge that lets you share them. Every effort counts. Even watching this video is progress. You are investing in yourself, your skills, and your future opportunities every single day. So be encouraged. Keep learning with joy, courage, and patience. Your journey is unfolding beautifully. One day you'll look back with pride, and you'll realize, I did it. I became fluent, not by magic, but by steady steps, small victories, and never giving up. This is your path. Walk it with hope. Trust the process. Trust yourself, and let English open new doors for your life. Congratulations for coming this far. Stay strong, stay motivated, and keep going. Fluency is not far. It is already growing within you. So take the next step today. Speak, listen, write, or read, whatever you choose. Remember, progress comes from action, not waiting passively. And as you walk this journey, know you are not alone. Millions of learners worldwide share the same path of growth together. Together, you're building bridges of understanding, respect, and friendship. That is the true power of English, uniting hearts and minds across the world. Thank you for listening, for learning, and for growing. May your English journey bring not only fluency, but also joy and confidence always. Before we close, let's review the main lessons. First, listening is the foundation. Listen daily to songs, podcasts, shows, or conversations around you. Second, speak bravely. Don't wait until perfect. Perfection never comes. Speak now, make mistakes, and learn. Confidence grows only through action and repetition. Third, read widely. Books, articles, blogs, anything. Reading expands vocabulary, improves grammar, and exposes you to different styles of writing and thought. Fourth, write daily. Journaling, notes, or stories. Writing strengthens memory, builds structure, and helps you express your thoughts clearly in English. Fifth, review regularly. Don't forget what you learn. Repetition is the mother of memory. Use flashcards, apps, or notebooks to review consistently. Sixth, stay connected. Join groups, find partners, talk with friends. Learning with others makes the journey lighter, joyful, and more motivating every day. Seventh, be patient. Language is not built overnight. Trust the process. Small steps daily create huge results over time if you stay steady. Eighth, celebrate progress. Notice your victories. however small. Each success fuels motivation and reminds you that your efforts are truly working gradually. Finally, keep your reason close. Remember why you started. Let that reason give you strength on days when motivation feels low. These principles guide every learner, from beginner to advanced. They are simple but powerful when practiced with consistency, patience, and determination every day. And now, ask yourself, what will you do today? Will you listen to a podcast, read an article, or write a diary? Choose one small action. Do it today. That small action is the seed of fluency. Plant it, water it, and let it grow. Tomorrow, do another. Over weeks, months, and years, these seeds become a strong tree. Your English will stand tall, rooted in effort. Like a tree, fluency provides shade, fruit, and beauty. It gives comfort, opportunity, and pride. And it grows from small daily seeds. So don't delay. Don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. Take action today and keep moving forward consistently. Remember Maria and Daniel? Their success came not from talent, but persistence. They showed up daily, practiced steadily, and trusted the process always. You can do the same. Fluency is not for special people. It is for patient, persistent people. And that means you right now. Yep. Believe in your journey. Trust your steps. Speak bravely. Listen carefully. Read widely. Write daily. And keep going. Fluency is already forming inside you. English is waiting to serve you as a tool, a bridge, and a gift. Use it to connect, grow, and shine in life. And whenever doubt whispers, remember, every step counts. Every mistake teaches. Every word learned matters. And you are getting closer daily. This is the truth of learning. This is the beauty of progress. And this is the hope waiting for you ahead always. So walk forward with courage, speak with joy, learn with patience, and let English open new horizons in your life today. Thank you for joining this journey. May your English bring you confidence, courage, and connection wherever you go. Keep practicing and never give up. You are not only learning a language, you are building a future, step by step, word by word. You are becoming fluent and free. Congratulations, the journey continues. And remember, the best time to practice is always today. So take action now and keep walking forward faithfully. Let's add a final encouragement. Many learners think fluency is far away, but each sentence you understand, each word you speak, is fluency growing. Fluency is not a finish line. It is a daily experience. It grows in conversations, in laughter, in mistakes, and in learning moments. Think about a child learning to speak. They don't study grammar first. They listen, imitate, repeat, and slowly improve. You can do the same. Children make mistakes all the time, but they don't stop. They keep speaking until they are understood. This is the real path to fluency. So let yourself be like a child, curious, brave, and joyful. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are your teachers, not your enemies. Each mistake you make is proof that you're trying, and trying is the only road that leads to improvement and eventual mastery of English. Another reminder, fluency is not about speed. It's about clarity, even slow. Simple English can be fluent if it communicates clearly and naturally. So don't rush, speak slowly, clearly, and confidently over time. Your speed will grow naturally as your comfort and vocabulary increase daily. Also, remember to enjoy the journey. Learning should not be suffering. Add fun, songs, games, friends, movies, and stories. Fun makes progress faster. When you enjoy the process, your brain learns better. Joy strengthens memory, focus, and motivation. Fun is not optional. It is essential always. So laugh, sing, play, and explore. English is not just study. It's a living language to enjoy, not just rules to memorize endlessly. Finally, remember this truth. You are capable, you are strong, and you have everything you need to succeed already inside of you. Fluency is not luck. It's not magic. It's the reward for persistence, courage, and patience. And you already have those qualities in yourself. So step boldly, speak bravely, learn joyfully, and never forget, you are closer to fluency than you think at this very moment. Every day is a chance. Every conversation is an opportunity. Every effort is a seed. And every seed will grow into success with time. So let's walk this road together, with courage, with joy, and with hope. English is waiting to serve you, empower you, and connect you. This is your journey. This is your time. And this is your chance to shine. Take it with courage and faith in yourself. Thank you for staying until the end. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing. You are not just learning English, you are transforming your life. So go out, take action, and remember, the world is waiting to hear your voice. Share it proudly, because it matters more than you know. And with that, we finish today's journey, but your learning continues tomorrow and every day after. Fluency is waiting for you ahead. Congratulations, learner. You are doing it. You are growing, and you are becoming fluent step by step, day by day, word by word. Before you go, let me leave you with one last thought. English is not just a language. It is a bridge to life. It connects you to people, to opportunities, to ideas, and to dreams you never thought possible. It is more than words or grammar. It is freedom, connection, and power. And every minute you spend learning is an investment in yourself, your future, and your voice. So treasure this journey, be proud of it, and know that your efforts are meaningful, valuable, and truly shaping who you are becoming. Let's recap once more, so the lessons stay clear. Listen daily, speak bravely, read widely, write consistently, review regularly, stay connected, be patient, celebrate progress, remember your reason, add fun, enjoy mistakes, stay consistent, and always believe in yourself. These are your guiding lights. If you follow them, fluency is guaranteed, not overnight, not instantly, but step by step until one day you realize you've already arrived. And when that day comes, you will look back with gratitude. You'll see that every small effort was worth it in full. The frustration, the mistakes, the practice, they were not wasted. They were building you into the confident, fluent person you are now. So never doubt the value of your effort. Each day matters. Each practice session matters. Each word matters. Your progress is real and lasting. Now it is your turn to continue. Take today's lesson and put it into action. Choose one habit and start practicing it now. And maybe listen to music. Maybe write a short note. Maybe repeat a phrase aloud. Whatever you do it today. That is progress. And tomorrow, do it again, and the next day, and the next. Soon, it becomes natural. Soon, it becomes part of your life. That is how fluency is built. Not through one big effort, but through many small. Faithful efforts repeated again and again daily. So keep walking, keep speaking, keep listening, keep believing. The English you dream of is already being formed inside you every single day. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. It has been an honor to guide you, encourage you, and remind you of your strength. Now go, learner, go speak, go listen, Go read, go write, go live in English. It is waiting for you fully. And as you do, remember, you are not just learning a language. You are discovering yourself, your courage, and your endless ability to grow. English is your tool, your bridge, your opportunity. Use it, enjoy it, share it, and let it take you to new horizons always. This is the end of this lesson, but not the end of your journey. That continues today, tomorrow, and every day after. So keep going, keep growing, and keep shining. Because you can, because you are capable, because you are already becoming fluent right now.